Good morning, class. I'm an economics teacher, and we were dealing with the significance of or the importance of secondary sector. We already covered 5 points. We'll see the sixth point today, and a new topic that will start today is interdependence of agriculture and industry. How is agriculture and industry interrelated, or how are they interdependent on each other? Before that, we'll finish up the topic, yesterday's topic or last class topic, that is significance of secondary sector. The sixth point, it says that it is a balanced development. When we are inclining towards or when we are moving towards secondary sector, it brings an balanced development for the economy. Our economy, mixed economy, is basically an unbalanced economy. Unbalanced economy means the sector which is focused more, the sector on which most of the expenditures are incurred, that fetches less of the income. This is the sad part of it. Which sector the government puts more of the efforts, more of the investments are done, more of the subsidies are provided, but that sector results into less of income for the economy. That is the sad part. That is why it is an unbalanced economy. Unbalanced economy. It is just like a student who is weak and is focused more, is given a special attention by the teacher, but in spite of that, he does not give a good performance, he does not prove to be a good student, or he does not give a good result, then that actually shifts or fluctuates the overall result of the class. So the balanced development is, ours is an unbalanced economy. Most of our population is engaged in agricultural activities. I told you nearly about 72% of the economy is basically involved in agriculture activities only. So 72%, nearly 3/4 of the population, we can say that 3/4 of the population is directly or indirectly engaged in agricultural line only. Our greater dependence on agriculture has made us poor. Balanced development of the Indian economy would be possible only when more and more of industries are established. Means it is the duty, it is the prime duty of the government to focus on that sector which actually results to more of the employment opportunities, more of the income for the economy, and that sector is basically called as secondary sector, which actually employs a greater mass for the economic development basis or for the employment basis. Seventh point is self-sustained economy or growth. Industrialization of Indian economy can alone provide necessary strength for her self-sustained growth. Means if the economy wants to progress, if the country wants to develop, then the basic area or the basic core that is needed to be focused on is the industrialization sector or the industrial sector. If the growth of the industrial sector is more, then it is damn sure, it is 100% sure that the economy will progress. Means if we want to progress the economy, the investment should be in the industrial sector. That is what it means to say. The rapid development of capital goods. Capital goods are basically those goods which are used for the production of other goods. Examples are all the machines or equipments are examples of capital goods. Whatever equipments we see around, that is a part of capital goods. The rapid development of capital good industries provides a sure basis of development in other goods like agriculture, transport and communications. All the machineries that you see around is a part of capital goods, and capital good is a part of secondary sector. So whenever secondary sector develops, the other sectors are bound to develop. This is the interrelation concept only. It also enables the country to produce a variety of consumer goods in large quantities and at low costs. See, whenever the concept of production is simple, if you want to reduce the prices, increase the production. If you want to reduce the price, increase the production. Means if more products are produced, then the price will be manipulated, or price will differ, or the price will decrease. Means averaging of the price is done when more of production takes place. The second point is, it eliminates our dependence on other countries for the supply of essential goods. Now, I told you before, when the country received the freedom, when we were dependent on the foreign countries. In the mid of 1960s only, we became self-sustained in the food crops matter. Before that, prior to that, we were dependent on the foreign countries only. So after the green revolution, we became a balanced economy, or we became a balance in the food cropping sector, and then on we started supplying to the foreign countries. Now, if we do not have a good resources over here, if we do not have a capital goods over here, if we do not have the machineries over here, the modern machineries over here, we're bound to be a slave of the foreign countries. So in order to be a free individual, in order to be a free economy, we need to be balanced one. We need to have more of the industrial growth, and this can only be the base for the other economies development or other sectors development. Other sectors can only develop when the secondary sector develops, because it lays the foundation for the other sectors even. It actually fears that if the things are not controlled, if we are being every time we keep on demanding by the foreign market, then the time will come when we will be forced to become a slave of their choice. Whatever they would wish to, or however they want to run the market, we will force to follow. So just to be free, just to be an own, just to prove our own identity, it is very essential that the government shifts its focus on from the foreign goods to domestic goods, that too with the growth of secondary sector. And the last point is, eighth point is nation's security. Now nation's security is again with the same point. It says that it is overbearing factor when we are dependent on the foreign countries. The foreign countries rule to us over us by the choices of product they produce, and we are forced to follow them. So the moment they come to the conclusion, okay, the so and so country is our follower only, whatever we decide they follow, then the concept is going to be mismatched. So in order to be a free economy, in order to be a own dependent economy, own self-sustained economy, it's better that we start producing all the raw materials, all the goods, which is the requirement, which is the demand of the consumers. So in spite of being dependent on foreign economies, it's better that we start producing in our country only. Domestic production will increase, more of employment opportunity will be created, and every hand will have a income that will again plus the economy by equal distribution of income. So it is very essential. But foreign money is even an essential part for the economy's progress, that I have already explained you. So a part of it can be imported, and rest part of it can be done, rest part of production can be done in our country. That should be a conclusion of it. So that was about the significance or importance of secondary sector or the industrial sector. Now we will see the interdependence of agriculture and industry. How are they interrelated? How are they interdependent? Agriculture and industry are closely interrelated. In fact, they are inseparable sides of an economy. Means they cannot be separated. They are so important. They are so important together that they cannot be separated. If an economy wishes to progress, it cannot never separate each sector. It has to take in all the sectors on one base. They are inseparable sides of an economy. If agriculture is the backbone, industry is the energy of the economy. How it is related? If the agriculture is the backbone, energy comes from secondary sector. So if the agriculture is the backbone, industry is the energy of the economy. Agriculture and industry are complementary to each other. Complementary, they are needed together. They are not substitute of each other, but they are demanded together. One cannot develop without the other. I told you the growth of secondary sector is impossible without the primary sector. Vice versa. Vice versa. Primary sector even cannot progress without the development of the secondary sector. We shall now discuss the interdependence. How is they are interdependent, following are the contribution of agriculture to industry. The first point is agriculture supplies raw materials to the industry such as cotton, jute, tea, sugarcane, oilseeds. Whatever is required by the secondary sector, all the base are laid in the primary sector only. The primary sector basically shifts to the secondary sector for value addition. Second is agriculture supplies food for workers working in different countries. All the workers who are employed, whether in the secondary or tertiary sector, how are they fed? They are fed by the primary sector. So that the primary sector plays an important role in the secondary or tertiary sector. The third point is agriculture is the source of capital formation for industries. Savings of the people are invested in industries. Now, capital formation means that you are, if you want to start a business, you must have some capital. How is that capital generated? That capital is generated out of the savings that was done by the primary sector only. So, primary sector, whatever surplus it had, it kept on supplying to the foreign countries, and that actually resulted in the foreign income for the country. And overall, the income was distributed in the every hands of the individuals. The fourth is agriculture sector provides a good market for industrial goods, both consumer and capital goods. The goods are categorized as consumer goods and capital goods. Capital goods, I already told you, all the machines and equipments are part of capital goods only. So all the goods that is supplied by the primary sector, that becomes an important part for the secondary sector, and value additions are done, and then on whatever is supplied, that actually fetches the income for the economy. And the last is agriculture is a source of healthy and strong labor for the industries. If we want to build up an asset for the economy, our labor force should be a very strong one, strong with the will, strong with the health. They should be a healthy one. A healthy labor is a good sign for a healthy economy. When we say this, we mean that all the basic nutritions of the bodies are fulfilled by the primary sector only. So primary sector, in short, plays a very important role in the development of secondary and tertiary sector. In short, agriculture induces industry to produce more and supplies the raw materials and manpower to it. So whatever is produced is because of the agriculture sector only or because of the primary sector only, but value addition is done by the secondary sector. So both are interdependent. Tomorrow we'll see about the how the industry contributes to agriculture. This was about the agriculture contributing to industry. Tomorrow we'll see about how the industry contributes to agriculture. Thank you, class.